All right. Well, hello everyone on this really cold evening here in Massachusetts. About probably going to be 11 degrees tonight again. And like again and again. Um, and this is really cool. We've been waiting for this interview for a long time, but there's just been so much crap going on. It's been like insane. So awesome to introduce to you Erica Emarina and her book, Girls Stolen. So I want to throw the stage over to Erica to tell us a little bit about herself, if you'd like to share. Like, first, I don't want to start. I mean, what you do now and for a living before
I
we.
know, and for me, this is the most awkward thing. So first of all, pardon me because I'm awkward. It's hard to talk about myself, and I just had surgery, and I'm in a lot of pain, so bear with me. But my name's Erica Amarina. Um, I have a website, ericaamarina.com. It has a lot of information about me. It also has what I do, and a lot of the podcasts and information are on there listed, and my book's on there as well.
Yeah, Bobby will probably know you from Rebecca Rose's channel. They're like, oh, I know her. Yeah,
The awkward girl, and yeah, that was so embarrassing. I messed that up too.
not at all. I mean, you're in the right company here, I think.
When I was 6 years old, I was used on the moon base for as an intuitive empath, and I had to glean information by um, kind of merging my energy with these beings' energy, and I would get all the information out of them, and then it would be fed back to the bad guys, and they would hurt them. So I lived with that guilt that I was a bad person from that age on, because the Dark Fleet would come in and say, "Oh, look at what you made me do to that. It's your fault they're dead. It's your fault that I had to tear them apart." And I'm just a kid, but that's a good way to really like split you.
This is human. This is what I try to tell people. Like, oh, you don't like humans. It's like, no, it's not that I don't like them. I know what they do. I know
Yeah.
what
And
Karen does.
those were humans.
Right.
Those were humans.
Exactly. The Terrans are Darkfleet. This is the Death Star. Now you have a race of slaves in between, but yeah, it's just, and then you see stuff like people, oh, they got tricked by they didn't get tricked. They wanted they weren't tricked.
Right.
That was an alliance. There's no tricking. This is that's why that's just what and I know they have to know upstairs like these guys are bad news.
I
And
mean, I know that they're an embarrassment. Like I know that the way Dark Fleet behaves is like an embarrassment for people who are trying to defend humanity.
yeah,
It's got to
like,
be like,
but that's your military. That's Solar Warden, that's the secret space program, that's all that stuff.
so yeah, Solar Warden, when I was 50, they abducted me and it was so violent. That was
Oh,
what really woke me up. But um, I was living in Monterey. It's right by the ocean, Monterey, California, and I was full-time working as a nanny. And it was a Wednesday night, and I was making my lunch for the next day. And like when you're a nanny, you're tired. I don't drink, I don't do drugs, I don't, nothing. So on this one night, I'm in the kitchen and I'm getting my food together, and I feel this really, really eerie feeling behind me, in the between your shoulder blades when you get that,
oh,
that somebody's gonna kill you or something. The house was dark. Like it was a small apartment, and I'm like feeling like I needed to run and protect, like hide, because I was so terrified. When I looked up out of the kitchen, I couldn't see the far wall. And this is a small apartment. Usually you can see the street lights coming through the curtains. I couldn't even see that. It was like there was a shadow that I couldn't, darker than dark.
yeah.
And it had happened to me like 1,000 times before, but they mind wipe me. And so I go to my room I get under the covers. I lock my door. I put a chair under the door. I'm really scared. It feels like someone's right behind me, like with a knife, waiting to.
Wow. Yeah.
Um, I fell asleep, and then within like an hour, I woke up. I had somebody's knee on my chest, in my bed. I opened my eyes. There's two military officers.
Yep.
And the roommate that I had been renting from, I guess I found out she was ex-military, so they used her as a sleeper agent. She unlocked my door. I think they portaled in though, because I don't know how they got in there. I know
Yeah,
they
oh,
portaled, but I was so scared. In my tiny bedroom, I have these two men. One has the knee on me, and the girl she had something in her fingers and she put it down my throat. She stepped back. And then I remember the men reached down and I remember trying to fight and I was so scared, everything went black.
yeah.
3 hours later, I woke up and I was in my pajamas on my bed. I had a fat lip. I had a cut right here. I was bleeding. I was crying and my heart was racing. And it was about 4:30 in the morning. And I knew something horrible had happened, but my other part of my mind was like, you got to get to work. You're on Earth. You have to get to work or you're gonna lose, you know?
Yeah.
I went into the bathroom and I turned the light on. I'm covered in blood. So, um, I went to work because I didn't know what else to do.
Yeah.
I was, and I mean, I was assaulted, so I was bleeding and I was having to hide that because I just was in shock. I worked for 2 days, but in those 2 days, I wrote emails to Alex Collier.
Mhm.
I wrote an email to Elena. I wrote an email to Danny Henderson. I think I thought she could get a hold of Elena. Every email I wrote, I pushed send. It would be taken off my phone and taken out of my sent box. When I realized that, okay, something bad happened and now I can't call for help. Then I went to the hospital and they admitted me and they're like, wow, they saw I was messed up. They saw the cuts. They saw why I was bleeding.
Yeah.
And they put me in a unit for victims of violent crimes for about a week. Um, police, talked to the police, talked to the rape crisis center, nobody could help.
Well,
Nobody could help.
everything. Yeah.
Nobody's going to help.
No.
The detective pats me on the head and says, "Don't be scared. It won't happen again." Like, that's all I got. That was all I got. Anyways, that was an abduction by Solar Warden.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So when a few weeks after that, of course, I took everything out of that apartment within 20 minutes that night, and I just put it all in my car.
Mhm.
Didn't care what I left. I didn't care. I didn't care. I took all my savings I had over the weekend and I found myself a tiny studio right on the water in Pacific Grove. And I just wanted to be safe. I just wanted to feel safe.
Ah,
I had like 10 locks on my door. Not that it mattered.
you can't get it's no
I
sense.
know. So what I thought would help was I had my Nona was my only like maternal anything that showed me love. So I had her sewing table in my apartment. So I took out all her thread and I put booby traps around the room just because I had no control. I'm alone. No human being is helping me. I'm scared. My family like laughed it off like I was making it up. Um, I found a book that Niara, I can't pronounce her name, sorry. Niara Isley
Oh,
wrote,
yeah.
Facing the Shadow, Embracing the Light. That's all I had
Yeah.
to read to So I was like, okay, that's what happened. So I spent months so
Oh yeah.
so scared all the time, always looking over my shoulder. I would go to the store and always worried that somebody was going to come up behind me. I was just a wreck. My health went, I got so sick that I couldn't walk 10 feet without passing out. And I finally decided, and now I'm talking to my guides, and I'm like, okay, this isn't, I'm not doing this anymore. This is bullshit. You know, I said, whatever your plan was, no. So I tidied up my apartment. I was like, I had a plan. I was going to jump in the water because where I lived, the ocean crashes against the rocks. It's like 50 feet down. If you jump, there's no way to get out. The water's freezing. So I was like, I can't tell you the calm I had when I was like gonna go through with this.
Yeah.
It was my only option. Um, it was about 11 o'clock at night. I took a shower. I don't know why. I was gonna go jump in the ocean, but I took a shower. I put on nice clothes. Um, I cleaned up my apartment. I was thinking, should I leave a note? No. I tried to call my kids. I have three adult children. No answers. So I get ready to walk out the door and I reach for the doorknob. And all of a sudden, I am overcome with buzzy, fizzy. I have to go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And I hadn't been able to sleep for like 8 months. So that was unusual. Why am I calm?
Yeah, yeah.
But I couldn't fight it. I was like, no, let me just get to the water. Then
But when you're ready to do it, they usually come in and
yeah, so that's what happened. So, I got buzzy, fizzy, lay down on my bed, and then I wake up on a ship surrounded by all these faces that are looking at me like, what the hell are you doing? And then, of course, when you're up there, your amnesia goes away. So I'm looking at what I was about to do, and I'm so embarrassed because it
yes,
kind of is
I
so stupid.
know. Like, I don't know. Yeah, I know. It's so embarrassing.
And they're looking at me like really, really trying to do the math. Okay, so you're gonna jump in the ocean, and how is that gonna help anything? I was so embarrassed. And
Yes.
then my mate cracks a joke and says, "Wow, you sure took that too seriously." Oh my God. I was like, you guys don't get it. I was gonna end my life.
And they know that's why they brought you up.
But oh my God, so I'm up there just so embarrassed because yeah, I need to take a break. Hold on.
Yeah, yeah. That's how it rolls. Yeah. It's yeah.
So yeah, they're we talk, they pull the veil off, so all of my amnesia goes away and then everything makes sense. And that was why I was so embarrassed because you have the big picture when you're up there, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm gonna go to my notes now.
Yeah, it's weird. It's almost like it makes sense because it's kind of like you say you stub your toe, right? Like, and you're like, oh, so, and you're like, swear and everything, right, then it goes away, and then you the rest of your day, right? It's like it's just like you know, yeah, it's like every time you get a cold, you're miserable, and then the cold goes away, and you forget all about
Yeah, you can't remember
it.
why was I gonna do
That's
that?
like why was it just doesn't like it no longer has that same. But
But then I was like, you guys let me go through that? So I got mad at them because it's so confusing. But I'm up there and yeah, my I'm gonna say mate, husband is the right word, but it's not the right word for me. But he's like, Geez, you really took that life a little seriously. He goes, you don't have to be so dramatic about jumping in the water.
Yeah, I know. It's,
Anyways, so I'm seeing the bigger perspective, and then I realized, wow, I have stuff to do. That was dumb. Why was I going to do that? I remembered who I was at that moment. I remembered uh the beginning of time. There's only time down here. So I was able to remember myself when Earth was formed, knew what it looked like, where I came from, who I was, like an amalgamation of different races. I learned that this body was created in a lab, and then they placed me in my mother's womb.
oh, okay.
Um, I got to see everything, and everything just kind of made sense. I didn't find out about the what what the abduction was though until much later.
Hmm. Yeah. No, yeah, I didn't they didn't show me my abduction until like oh God, so it's what eight? I'm trying to do them. I'm terrible at math, but like
I am too.
wait a minute, so five, eight, like 48, no, not 48, maybe like 45 years later.
Yeah. And I know I understand why that has to be that way because if you're not ready, emotionally ready as far as being mature enough to handle the information, ready as far as it doesn't give you like a nervous breakdown when you remember, you have to be ready. So I get that. But they really blessed me in when I would remember I got to go through the emotions of everything I'd experienced since the beginning of time separate. So with their little mind thing, they um they separated those. So it was easier for me to get tons of the downloads of what happened and then not have to like be curled up in the fetal position throwing up because it was so intense. So they trickled that in over the 3 years after that abduction and until now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's usually how it runs. Yes, it's just I think it's that's what makes it for us so challenging because it's almost a dichotomy is like between what you then experience like upstairs and who you are, but then you're stuck here knowing that stuff because you can't unknow it.
Yeah, and that's the hard thing. That on top of still being scared that men were going to break into my bedroom,
Well, yeah.
on top of that, I'm remembering Atlantis falling down and what I had to do there. I'm remembering like all these events because Earth was had civilizations and then they would die out, had civilizations, and there was a catastrophe, another civilization, and then and I have to say, there's been so many really beautiful civilizations, but they all get infiltrated.
Mm, yeah. Yeah. It's really like and it's the same anywhere. I've had most of my lives off planet, but it's the same thing.
It is really.
It's like why do we do
I remember Lyra that infiltrate. It's the same thing for about the last 460,000 years, the same kind of infiltration. So
yeah, it's just yeah, massive shit show after massive shit show.
yeah, I know. Yay, let me stay down
Why?
here longer.
Yeah, it's like I like why does anybody incarnate? It just doesn't make it's just like why like I'm at the point now where it's just like I don't want to I've seen future lives and it's just like and they're good, but it's just kind of like I don't want to risk it. Like I just don't want I just want to stop. I
Yeah.
stay on the other side, whatever that is, the ball of electricity or something and just I just don't. It's not worth it.
It's hard.
I like coffee, but it's like it's not worth it. It's like it's not worth it. It's like yeah, it's a whole different but that's when it's so hard to like exist here because you're walking around amongst people who seem almost in a different dimension.
They are though.
No, it's like
Have you ever like been standing next to somebody and you're seeing an amazing thing in the sky and they're like, "What do you see?" And you're like, "It's right there," and they can't see it, but you can, or
every
vice versa.
just being
It's
around
you
humans and
could be right next to somebody and they could be in a whole different
they're in a
dimension.
whole different like yeah.
Whole so when they returned me to my bed, which I was clean and dressed because I took a shower already. So it's morning and I'm a completely different person. I'm not, I mean, I was still scared and nervous and I had anxiety, but I knew I wasn't alone.
Yeah.
So, that feeling, I felt connected to my family again,
Hmm.
which I so needed. So I decided to go on a walk to absorb everything that I had just learned, and try to so I could embody it a little bit. But when I got to the water, I couldn't because they implanted me with a program that made me afraid of the ocean.
Oh no.
No, I couldn't go.
Oh my God.
It was so mean.
Oh my God. Oh, that's wild.
So I get close to the water and you can hear someone kind of happy with themselves. And
Um,
then that's when it we started communicating through really cheesy 80s songs.
oh God, yes. I
So,
love that stuff.
you know what? The one I've had all day today was White Snake and oh wait, no, Scorpions. I don't know. I'm still
Oh,
loving you.
oh yeah, scorpions. Oh yes.
Here we go again.
Love the scorpions.
So
Close.
yeah, that's the one he's been singing me today.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But man, I love the ocean and I can't go near it now.
You still can't go near it.
No. I know it'll break. I don't live there anymore, so I know that if I go back, it'll be worn. They just had to keep it in me, so I wasn't making a certain decision anymore.
Yeah. Oh, that's that's
But
well
you get
before.
it's so ridiculous. It's funny. I'm la I mean, it wasn't funny at the time, but I'm laughing now.
All right, I think that's what. Yeah, that's yeah.
So, I was still like I couldn't make rent. I couldn't.
Oh
I
yeah.
still couldn't go to the store. I didn't know what to do. I was so sick from the trauma still that I
Yeah.
I had to move in. I had to go back home, which I hadn't been since I was 15. And I just thought, okay, I'm going to go home and stay with my mom until at least I'm not bleeding. I was bleeding. I couldn't keep any food down. I couldn't keep water down. I couldn't stay hydrated because
Oh,
the stress had wrecked my gut completely. It was completely just broken. No nutrients would stay in me.
wow.
Um, the PTSD was incredible,
I can
and
imagine.
I'm just starting to let go of that.
Oh, that's yeah, yeah.
But one thing I didn't know was that when you get a positive benevolent abduction, somebody's going to want to know where you went, what you know, and who you were with. So, of course, I had another MyLab a few nights later, completely mind wiped again, couldn't remember all the amazing things. Um, so I moved back home and I'm at my mom's and I'm getting stuff organized. I'm going through all my things and throwing away what I don't need. I find a giant box and I don't remember leaving it there. It just had my name on it, Erica. And I open it. It has journals that I kept since age 7. And, I'm 51 looking at this box. I start thumbing through the journals and another shock. It was shock after shock after shock. So what I had done what I had done to get by and fit into humanity was block my own experiences out.
Okay.
But what I didn't remember I was doing was I wrote everything out in my journals and then I hid them. And that was my way of staying sane. I wanted so bad to be a normal human. I wanted to fit in with the girls. Be, I wanted my parents to love me. They never did. I thought, well, I must have to do something better. You want that when you're here. You want someone to guide you or tell you what you're supposed to do, or I had nothing. I was on my own. So I kept all these really weird, crazy experiences in my journals. But since I was 7,
Wow.
and I blocked that from my own memory. And I think it's fascinating. Like, I didn't remember I was doing that, but when I started reading some of them, that's not what little kids should be writing about.
Like writing about, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so I did my best about 8 months ago to put them in linear fashion, and I put them in a book, and that's where I got the collection of memories because it
yeah.
comes out of my journals.
That's awesome.
And what was really cool is I also kept pictures, photos of things that I woke up with, bruises, marks.
Yeah.
So I have evidence.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was able to, it was almost like I had planned this, like my higher self had said, "Oh, I have a good idea." But I think it's brilliant that
That was amazing.
I kept that part of my life. I kept notes. And so I had to like blend my my normal earthling self with this other self,
Yeah.
which has taken a while. But writing the book, it liberated me from carrying all of that.
Yeah.
And you're carrying all of that inside of you, and you're so isolated. It's not fun.
Oh
It's
yeah.
not healthy.
That's yeah. Fantastic. That's crazy. Yeah. Oh,
But, and then driving around town, the town I grew up in, I discovered a lot more after I wrote the book. I would be driving by, oh, that's my old school. And then I'd have to pull over and I'd be crying. And so all my memories came back day after day driving by this. And the targeting got really, 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 really heavy.
ooh.
Um, it's
Wow.
hard to talk about this because I'm having the visceral reactions, and it's emotional. It's hard, so bear with me.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, it's because you can't hide.
Hmm?
You can't hide. And nobody like where do you go? How do you,
You
get
can't
out?
hide.
Where do you go?
Your bed isn't safe. You're
Nowhere's
hiding in the closet. You can't. I realized I had moved every 2 years my entire life. I looked back and I'm like, I thought maybe I just was adventurous and didn't want to stay in the same place. No, I've been running from people.
yeah. You can't run
So
from them.
no, because they can turn your wall into liquid and walk through it
Yeah.
and get you and take you out. So
Yeah.
one night, I had a session with Rebecca
Mhm.
Rose, and I said, okay, this is happening. This is all happening. I know what's going on, but something's wrong with my brain. It's not my brain. And so when she looked, someone else was there, and it was a family of Grays. And
Oh,
they popped out and they were like, "We're Erica's family." And I'm like, "The fuck you are." But what had happened was when I was 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, because I didn't have parents that were available,
yeah.
they had come in and convinced me that, well, you're not going to want to listen to your parents. They don't love you. We love you. And I'm a kid, and that's the only thing I'm craving is
Right.
somebody to accept me. So I made all those deals with them when I was young. They turned me into a pilot. They had technology all throughout my head. Um, they had me piloting. This is the hardest thing I'm ever going to have to say ever. And I don't think I want to say this ever again. They had me piloting cargo ships to take trafficked children out of the galaxy, out of, yeah, it's ugly.
Yeah. Yep. No, no, those are the heroes. Those are the yes,
Like Bashar,
that's the
Bashar.
yeah, that's the the military heroes. Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways, sorry about that. So
No, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it was, that's what they did.
I got
Hmm.
something came over me, and after Rebecca told me that, and we were done with our session, I just to beat somebody down as much as they beat me down,
Yeah.
having my labs after abductions, after my labs, after you can only push somebody so far down until that person snaps and fights back, kind of thing.
Many do, yeah.
And I didn't think I had that in me.
Yeah, you fine, you fine.
But I just in my own private bedroom that night, I started just screaming at them. Any and all deals we made when I was a child are null and void. I want all the technology out of me now. Like, I was so angry. I was so angry. It was like I pulled up energy from the galaxy in me, and I was like, now.
Yeah, yeah.
I get in bed, the room gets buzzy again, and a being that kind of looks this color, kind of like that color,
Oh, really?
comes in, peeks in, and I feel it was so bizarre. I felt a hand go right through my head, and I felt pulling and tugging and pinching sensations. And some of them were really uncomfortable, and it was so bizarre. I think I passed out or fell asleep. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Woke up choking in the morning. I had my mouth was full of blood again, and I ran to the bathroom. I got a paper towel, and I was just trying to clean it up. I look, and there's little mechanical objects.
Oh,
I don't even know how to describe them.
yes.
Some were like one just in this nosebleed, I had like a tiny little square. It was like as big as the tip of a toothpick, but it was metal, and I couldn't smash it. And then there was I'm gonna draw it.
Yeah. Oh my God, yes. All the
It
things.
was a ring. It was just a ring like that,
Oh,
a
like that.
black
A
a
little red.
black ring, and that fell out. And then I'm there sitting, and I remembered what happened the night before, and I'm like, oh my God, it worked. Oh my God, it worked.
Yeah, it
So
does.
I'm clean that up, and I go back, and I'm like, and I want this out, and I want that because I feel powerful now. But yeah, so the next few weeks, lots of nosebleeds, lots of things fell out. It
Yeah,
was
yeah,
so
yeah,
creepy.
yeah.
But I had my mind back for the first time. I had been suffering with these thoughts in my head. Every time I made a decision in my life, I would hear, that's stupid, don't do that.
Hmm.
Like there was a constant battle in my mind. I thought I was just either, I don't know, schizophrenic. I don't know what I
Yeah,
thought,
yeah, yeah,
but that was the grace.
yeah, yeah.